Hello everybody, I hope that sign up didn't give you too much of a headache. Now it's out of the way, we can get onto the good part. So what we want to do is we're going to set up your Plus 500 demo account. We'll give you $40,000 pounds on the account, and we're going to put it on 30 companies, leaving 25% of your money in the available to allow for movement. Obviously we don't believe it's going to drop, but it's always better to keep that money there in case it does drop. It won't force you to sell any options that you don't want to sell. Right, so number one on the list is Diageo. Diageo is a market giant in alcohol. It owns such big brands like Johnnie Walker, Ciroc, Windsor Whiskies, Captain Morgan, Smirnoff, Tanqueray and Guinness. I mean, look at that line, it speaks for itself. Good long-term growth, as well as being down due to the pandemic, makes it a good solid short-term and long-term buy. So we want you just to click buy and buy £1,000 in that, 70 shares. Following up for that, company 2, Coca-Cola. Obviously when people are getting all that Diageo liquor, Coca-Cola shares are also hit by the pandemic and have got solid growth over a long time. So yeah, it makes it a good short-term and long-term buy as well. Buy 90 shares, makes £1,000. Please do Google these companies, put them onto Google News, search them on Motley Fool, read up some more. Don't just take what I've said and run with it. Take what I've said and do your own research on top. So EasyJet, look how low that is compared to pre-pandemic. That one's going to go through the roof. I think that probably might be one of the best options on the list, to be honest. So yeah, good short term for the pandemic, good long term because it's like a market leader and it's done really well in growth since 2010. Look at that line. Again, buy £1,000 in that. Beyond Meat, the vegetarian meat company. As most companies hit by the pandemic, if you read online stories, it will tell you that in the first lockdown a lot of customers hoarded their products. So due to their products having a long shelf life as well, the customers aren't coming back for a long time. So that combined with the closure of restaurants has given them a real big hit. So yeah, I'd buy Beyond Meat short term for that reason, and I'd buy it long term because the global rise of vegetarianism, and they're doing well, very well in the market for vegetarian products. So I'd buy £1,000 there. And come down to the pharmaceutical category. So this category is hot at the moment. The two companies I would buy are AstraZeneca UK, buy £1,000 of that, and Moderna for the same reasons. They're both pharmaceuticals, they're both in the vaccine race. Whichever one of them makes that vaccine first is going to make a lot of money. But even if they don't make the vaccine first, I think increased government spending into vaccines and pharmaceutical companies in general means they're all going to do well in the coming years. So short term you've got the vaccine, long term you've got government spending. I think they'll do well. £1,000 on each. We'll come down to another market leader, Amazon. We all know how well Amazon's doing. It's always been on the news. I mean, look at that line for scale. From under £500 a share up to £3,184 a share today. Amazing growth. So £1,000 of Amazon. Don't really have to explain on the growth of that one. I mean, it's taken over during the lockdown. It's so established now. It's got so much infrastructure and warehouses, and it's got so much going well for it. I don't see it doing badly anytime in the near future. Come down one more to number 8, First Solar. So First Solar, again, solar power, renewable energies, predicted to do well. It's a bit of an up and down line, but overall at the moment 99% of buyers with the banning of petrol cars and diesel cars and the move to renewable energy, increasing all the solar power and wind power, all the renewable sectors doing well. So yeah, First Solar, £1,000. Number 9, we're going to the crypto market. So crypto, we're going to break it down into 3 categories, spend 300 on each, as it's quite a volatile category, but it could be worth cashing in on. So we would put 300 on Monero, yeah, down nicely at the moment, and we'd put 300 on Tron, and I would put 300 on XLM or Ripple or Stellar even. So yeah, a lot of the cryptos have like 2 names. They have like a short three letters name, and then they have like a trading name, if you like. Different apps will display them in different ways. So we put 300 on each of them because it's yeah, crypto scene mad gain. Come over to oil, which is going to be at an all-time low with no travel and airplanes and everything like that. I mean, it's quite an unstable market, but I think over the past years, but I think now is a good time to buy. Could easily see go up to $65 a barrel again, if not higher, above and beyond that. So yeah, oil, $1,000, £1,000. Sorry, you'll see that eToro lists in dollars and plus 500 lists in pounds. That's why it can get confusing sometimes. Next one, £1,000 to Cineworld. Recently saved before going under. You know, now's a great time to buy. Look at that drop. Even if it establishes half of that loss back, you're in mad money. And yeah, it's got a lot of property, a lot of cinemas. It's got a lot of stock. People aren't going to let that die. They're just letting that price crash so they can buy in. But now's the time to buy in. Now's the uptick. Now's the time to get back into Cineworld. £1,000 on that one. Right, number 12, AbbVie. So AbbVie is one of the youngest pharmaceutical companies. This year it just spent 63 billion acquiring another pharmaceutical company, Allergan. And with it being the youngest, it's probably got the most room for growth. And with pharmaceutical companies being hot topic and government spending in pharmaceuticals going up, I think AbbVie is a good buy. £1,000. Again, look at that line of growth. Okay, again, do your own research. Have a search on Google, Motley Fool, Financial Times. eToro has some great tools. Yeah, there's lots of places you can check up and do your research. The buyer's sentiment in the option menu is a great way to go. Just as a last final thing to check, if you think something's a solid stock and suddenly it's on 20% sentiment to buy, then yeah, you might want to recheck your research. Cannabis stock index. That's not yet. That's later. Sage. So we'll go on to SagePay. So SagePay, I don't know why it keeps coming up with the cannabis stock index like that. It's some sort of glitch on the app for a moment. Never mind. Right, so SagePay is down really low at the moment. See, a lot of websites and a lot of their companies that use them are not working. But other than that, they've seen good growth. You know, e-payments and e-commerce is going up. So Sage, which handle like a PayPal type system, I think they're going to go back up as well. Next one, the lithium index. So we were talking about indices a little bit before. This one is lithium and batteries. So with the rise of electric cars, electric scooters, electric bikes, solar panels, all of these things require lithium and batteries. I think as we see the rise of all 3 of their customer industries, it's only makes sense that we would see the rise of lithium. So I'd put £1,000 in the lithium battery index and £1,000 in the global lithium battery tech. The global lithium fund. For both the same reasons. Right. Tesco's is at a crazy low price at the moment. Get it while it's cheap. I mean, it's Tesco's, it's not going to go anywhere. Search up the figures for how many pounds a year Tesco's takes from people, you know. I don't think there's a person here which doesn't go to Tesco's at least once a week, if not every couple of days. But yeah, low coronavirus price, and yeah, guaranteed to go up. I'm pretty sure it's going to do really well over Christmas. No, people aren't going out, more people are going to be eating at home. So yeah, I think Tesco's is going to do well in the coming months and years. Good short term and good long term. Number 17, we have Netflix. Again, it's a market leader, seeing really good growth over the last few years. I think it's pretty solid. It's going to go up. Through lockdown, people have become a lot more used to, you know, sitting at home and watching Netflix. When lockdown ends, they're not just going to shake off that habit. I think it's going to be something that sees an increase year on year. Next 3 companies, I want you to invest £1,000 in each. One is Tesla, which if you have a quick look online is going to do really well. I mean, this last couple of weeks it's done really well. I wish I'd dropped this video a little bit earlier. We'd already been in a lot of money, but it's got good projected growth for years to come, so it's not too late. Don't be put off by that little jump. That's just a sign of things to come. And we got Tesla's smaller baby brother company, if you like, the Nikola Corporation. They've just had an announcement that they're going to potentially team up with General Motors. When that gets confirmed, it will go up massively. So yeah, worth investing another £1,000 there. And the last of the electric cars companies is NIO. Yeah, and you can see when you scroll down, it tells you a little bit about the company and the info, the price, funding, the time that it trades. All the information is in there. So yeah, let's put £1,000 on each of those. Next one, Big Box TRL. Let me find this one. I think this Big Box one is actually only on eToro. But yeah, basically Big Box, they own all of the big, not all of them, but they have a big chunk of the large warehouses for companies like Amazon and all these online fulfillment centers. They're owned by these, the whole sector is called Big Box, but there's a particular company, Big Box TRL, and yeah, it's one to look for. Fortunately, you can't put it on the plus 500 as it's not showing on the index, but they don't unfortunately show every single company that is tradable on here. So next one, Softcat, software company, also only on eToro by the looks of things. But yeah, there was a professional trader called Nick Train, it was mentioned on the Motley Fool as back in top Softcat. I'll let you have a read of that. Next company is definitely on plus 500. I was trading it earlier today. Unilever. So Unilever products are in 98% of houses, and if you bought Unilever back in 2011, you would have already seen a 200% rise in your money. So yeah, a good solid investment year on year. And plus with like growing population and the market being down at the moment, I think it's pretty likely to see some growth. Then we have the cannabis stock index. So with more countries legalizing, the price of cannabis is only going to the more cannabis is only going to get sold. I assume this will add to the value of the market. Again, you're not buying into any individual particularly companies, you're buying into like the top. I'm not sure how many, it doesn't say. Usually it says in the name how many companies, but this one doesn't say. So the cannabis stock index, another one, by £1,000. So Morgan Stanley, another big company. It's been shown, Motley Fool was calling it corona proof. It's showing good growth in hard times, and it made one acquisition in 2020 of 20 billion. Yeah, so it's making good growth in hard times. What's it going to make in good times? It's had a few rocky moments, like in between there. Looks like 2012 it had a bit of a dip. Maybe 2015 it had a little bit of a dip, but ultimately it's always recovered. In these long-term stocks, you don't really want to pay attention to what goes on day to day. It drives you a bit crazy. You want to look at what happens month on month, year on year. Right, next one, Fortescue Metals. It's a big mining company in Australia. If you look at some of the things they own, they have crazy statistics in like minerals and tin and copper in the ground, and like the numbers are just crazy. But now they've announced, which I think is a smart move for them, they're announcing that they're gonna start adding to their portfolio some renewable energy, some solar, some wind. So I'm sure it'll be a smart move for them, and they will continue to grow as they diversify. Again, 92% buy rate, and look at that growth it's made in the last year. So Fortescue Metals, £1,000. Next, Barclays. So Barclays is 40% down since the start of the pandemic. Even if it recovers half of that, you're making good profit. If it goes on to be better than it was in early 2020, then you're going to be in serious money. So yeah, Barclays, solid buy. Next one, Sina. So Sina is like a Chinese social media site. It's only been hit bad recently. I think it had some controversy, and then it got hit badly, due to just bad feeling about the company. I believe it was something on social media accounts, and they were seen as being supportive of like a shamed celebrity or some nonsense like that. But I think it's a pretty solid buy. Even if it recovers a quarter of that drop that it's had, then you're in money. It's not always about buying companies that are on a spike. You can make good money buying companies that are on a dip if you buy at the right time, like the bottom of that dip or near the bottom of that dip. Then you make money on the bounce. Right, we're nearly there. 29, BP Fuel. BP again, one of the market giants. 99% buy rate. I mean, yeah, the graph speaks for itself. Look at that drop off at the end there in the coronavirus. Previously to that, it was pretty up and down. But I'm fair to say that it's the lowest price it's been since like 2000 and God knows when. It doesn't let me scroll back past 2007. So yeah, another solid buy. Last but not least, Facebook. So Facebook continues to rise. I know people say, everyone has Facebook, how much more can it grow? But it's not that Facebook itself is growing, it's the companies that it acquires is growing. So as it buys up things like Snapchat and Instagram, and it buys out all these startup businesses that make it big, it's just adding to its growth. And all of that data they're collecting from everybody spying on us all. I'm sure they'll put all that data into good use to make some good decisions on the market. And another solid buy. So that's 30 buys. If you'd all go and buy £1,000 on your plus 500 of each one, that will leave you 10,000. Please don't get too tempted and start spending too quick. Just leave it for a few days, leave it for a week, and just watch it and just take note of one's up, one's down. Don't expect it all to go green straight away. Some of them might not go green until early January, early February. But there's the spread buying theory is that all 30 aren't going to go down. In fact, if you buy right, I reckon easily 25 plus are going to go green, and maybe you might end up with 4 or 5 in the red. So ultimately you're going to be way up. So you could be greedy and say, right, I think Facebook's going to do well, I think this is going to do well, that's going to do well, let me put 40 grand on this one company. And you might do very well if you pick the right one company. This just increases your chances, takes away a lot of the risk, and you can always chop and change. If you see one is booming, you can reassess and sell one share and put that money into another share very simply. But that would be more on eToro on the long side. But on this short day-to-day one, you can buy and sell a company 3 or 4 times in a day. Buy it in a dip, sell it on a spike. You can set a lot of automatic options, which we're going to cover in later videos. So you can put a safety net once you're in profit, put a safety line below it, so that if it hits that line, it automatically sells. If it continues to grow, even better. and then as it grows, you just chase the profit up with move your safety line up higher behind it. But we'll cover that more in depth in another video. I'll do it on screen so you can see what's happening. But yeah, I hope you add all those companies. Good luck to everybody, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or you have anything in particular that you want to cover. Our next video will be how to follow me on eToro, a little bit about eToro and the main difference between eToro and Plus 500. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying the videos. Things are going to get more interesting now you've got money on the market. Start seeing those live numbers go up and down. This is where it gets a bit more exciting for you. Yeah, just take it slow, don't rush into anything, and yeah, enjoy it.